Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you all those who have viewed and liked my videos, those who have subscribed to my channel, and I want to say thank you so much. Hopefully I'll keep uploading videos of this content, such as a story time or get ready with me or lifestyle videos. So today's video is going to be a birth experience, a labor experience when I had my son. My son was born July 16th of 2019, so I did get to miss out Hot Girl Summer, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. He has a summer birthday, summer baby, and it was just a good experience pregnancy-wise and birth-wise. So my baby was initially supposed to be born July 13th of 2019. So that would have been a Saturday, but obviously because it was my first baby, he was born a couple days late. On the 15th, which was a Monday, I did not go to work. I stopped working that Friday, and it was like a normal night. I was nesting. I got everything ready. I had the hospital bag ready. I had his diaper bag ready. I had everything ready, including my boyfriend's bag for the nights. So I had that all set up in the car. His stroller was in there. His car seat was in there. So I was just ready for this baby to be born. So that morning, I woke up at 6 a.m. because I had the appointment with my OBGYN at, I believe, 7:45. I woke up and got ready. Everything was good from 6 a.m. Even last night, I did feel a little weird, and I called up my boyfriend. I said, hey, like, I do feel a little weird. He said, well, obviously, you're going to have a baby. So all through that night, it was all good. I still went to the bathroom every couple minutes, hours. It was just incredible how many times I did pee. Once 7 o'clock hit, I started getting really bad contractions. Like my stomach was, it felt like it was getting pulled back and forth, and this like strong force was just, it was painful to me. So my boyfriend was taking so long to get ready. Like, this man took so long, and I'm in pain. Like, dude, like, come on, we have to go. So obviously, because he took so long, we got to my appointment really late. I think it was 8 o'clock. So I went to the appointment center, and it was on the 3rd floor, and the birthing center was in the 2nd floor. I obviously went to the 3rd floor, and I checked in, and I said, hey, I have an appointment today, but I think I'm going into labor. So the nurse was like, oh, well, like, you have to go to the 2nd floor and check in. Once we got there, the nurse hooked me up in a machine that was measuring my contractions. She told me I was already 4 centimeters dilated, but even in my last appointments, I did see that it was already 4 centimeters dilated for the past 2-3 weeks. So she hooked me up. She saw the contractions. They were going up and down and up and down. And she was telling me to get my gown ready, and she was going to take me to my room. She gave me my gown, and she told me to put it on. I put it on, and then we went downstairs and we had breakfast. The breakfast was, it had a different variety, but I obviously couldn't eat because I did fast the night before, and I fasted this morning. I was so scared I was going to poop when I gave birth that I was like, let me just not eat. So my boyfriend ate so much. He grabbed a big plate of breakfast food, and you guys know hospital food's like super expensive. So it came up to like $20 or something, and it was like a big plate though, but I mean still $20. And I only had like a bowl of fruit and like a yogurt. The nurse told me also not to come in an empty stomach, but I didn't know what to listen. When we got to the room was so nicely set up. I gave birth in a hospital, and the hospital was so nice. Like, it was brand new. It was just a nice setup. I went there and they gave me like a plastic water bottle, but it wasn't like no like ugly little water bottle with a bendy straw. No, it looked like a straight up Starbucks cup. When I got there, the contractions just started getting worse and worse, and it was maybe like 11. I had called my mom, and I told my mom, I'm giving labor right now. I need you right here. So she called her job, and she said, hey, I gotta go. Like, my daughter's about to give birth. So she came, but she didn't come until maybe like an hour, 2 hours later. And at this point, like, my contractions were getting worse and worse. And I just said, you know what? I need the epidural. I've always told myself that I was going to do it natural and with pain. At the same time, I told myself that I was only going to handle what I can handle. Not everyone's pain tolerance is high. So mine wasn't at that moment. So the nurse told me she was going to get me on epidural, and she had me sit all the way in the back of the bed, and she just told me to stretch my spine out, and she injected it, and from there my legs went numb. So the reason why I got epidural was because the nurses did tell me my baby will be a little bit bigger, and if I were to have natural, I would basically tear a little drastically from what I teared. When the nurse explained to me, she said I teared in 2 places and I had a couple stitches. With me not getting an epidural, the doctor said I might tear even more. So I was thankful that I got epidural, and I only got just a couple tears compared to what I would have had if I didn't have epidural. I was in bed. My mom came later, and she was just worried. She came, she sat down with us, and it was like, I think, 2 o'clock, and we were so tired. We just decided to take a nap. Like, my mom on the chair next to me, my boyfriend, he lay down on the other chair, and I was on the hospital bed, and we were just so tired and exhausted. We took a nap, and then I think 2 o'clock, 2:30 came, and I also wanted my aunt present, and my aunt called and she said, hey, I'm here. So my boyfriend went to go get her from the first floor, and he brought her up here. I was so happy to see her because she's such a mood lifter. Like, it was nice to have her. She kept us laughing. We were all hungry, so my boyfriend decided to go get food. And then I was really hungry. At this point, I was told I couldn't eat anymore, but the nurse did sneak me in a pudding cup, I remember. Yeah, it was a pudding cup. I don't like pudding cups, but at that point, I thought that was the best thing ever. And I ate the pudding cup like in like seconds. And I asked for another one, but she said, no, you just can't get another one because your gag reflexes at that moment that you give birth, it's gonna come back out. So I said, okay. At that point, the nurses were a little worried that my oxygen level was dropping. Normally, I guess it's 100, and it was dropping to, I think, 85, 86 into the room, and they hooked me up on oxygen, and they just told me to breathe in, breathe out, and that the baby was just twisting. So they had me be on all fours, and maybe the baby can like relocate himself or like refix himself back to normal position, and he did. But it was just a scary moment. Like, I was feeling queasy, I was dizzy, I just was starting to lose consciousness of what was happening around me. Like, it was everything so blurry. My oxygen was just not good at that moment. So my mom was worried, so was my aunt. So this was, I believe, like 4 o'clock. My boyfriend came in with food, and then my best friend surprised me, and she came in with food too. She brought in Chinese food, and like, I love Chinese food. She brought in chicken, fried rice, shrimp, and like, I love everything about that. And I still couldn't eat, so the way they were eating was so tasty. Like, my aunt was biting on that chicken wing, like my mouth was drooling. And I told my friend, I was like, girl, you have to sneak in a piece of shrimp. And she did. Later, I regretted it. Like, I regretted that whole part right there. The nurse came in later, and she decided to put me on a medicine ball that goes between my thighs. And it was going all good, but I just couldn't feel anything anymore. Like, my legs were just numb. From 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock, everything was calm. Like, I took a couple naps. Best friend with my mom and my aunt, they were just chilling. My boyfriend was chilling on the other side too. We were just, you know, all relaxed. And then 8:30 came. The doctor came with a couple students and a couple nurses, and she told me, well, I think it's time. We have to speed this up because your baby just doesn't want to come out. And I said, good, because I'm totally up for it. Like, I just wanted this baby out. I wanted to hold him already, and I hated having that IV in me. Like, I hate needles, but I'll take tattoos, but I just hate needles. I hate the fact that they're in you. And I forgot to shave that weekend, so that tape was pulling an extra piece of little hair, and it was just ouch. Like, that whole time, ouch. She was like, okay, well, let's just break your water. So around 8:30, they broke my water, and when the water broke, they saw green slime, like a green dark slime, and she had told me that this is poop, like started digesting it, and I was like, is that a bad thing? And she said, well, it happens when your baby's overdue already. So I was just scared, like, oh my god, like, I'm so happy that I went in when I could, but regardless, the contractions were the ones that also pushed me in. She got me ready and I started pushing around 9 o'clock. She gave me a machine and she told me follow the contractions with the machine, and that's when you're gonna push. Don't push too fast, but just push. So I did that, and she offered me if I wanted a mirror, but I didn't want to look at myself in the mirror until like maybe 5 minutes. I was like, you know what, give me the mirror. It's gonna help me like see my process. So she gave me the mirror and I saw my baby's little crown of hair. It was so adorable. Like, I was just so finally happy to see him, how he was going to come out. He had tons of hair. 9:29, he was finally out and I was just so happy. Like, my first instinct was I was scared that he wasn't breathing. So when they put him on my chest, he didn't cry. And I was like, oh my God, he's not breathing. Like, what's happening? And then I just hear his little cry and I was just crying of tears, like happiness. It was just an amazing experience. I can see my boyfriend kissing me, making sure I was okay. My mom and aunt and best friend were just cheering me. And it was so funny because at one point, the nurses decided to take a break from the pushing, and I'm like, girl, we need to finish this. Like, where the hell did they go? I like remember saying something in Spanish to my family, like, and I was like, where are these people? So when the baby was born, he was a big baby and I was so shocked how big. Granted, I did gain 70 pounds during my pregnancy because I was not healthy. I didn't walk. I ate whatever I ate and whatever I wanted. He was born 9.4 pounds and he was 22 inches long. So I'm tall and his dad's tall. So obviously I'm going to have a tall baby. Finally, everyone was tired. They all decided to go home and the epidural finally wore off with the medicine that they gave me. They placed me on the wheelchair and they brought me up to my room, and it was good. Like a couple hours, the nurses checked on me. They started helping me breastfeed and how to simulate my breasts and how the golden liquid was coming out. It was such an amazing experience, but breastfeeding hurts. Like, ooh, I don't know how I could have mastered it, but I did master it at the end. But breastfeeding hurt, and I think the most painful part was when your baby's sucking on you and you just feel your stomach just moving as if you have to poop, but it's just your organs coming back. And I think what no one tells you, and to me was probably the most painful experience, when the doctors come and push on your gut down. Ugh, like no one told me that was painful until it happened. I honestly tell everyone that's having a baby, especially first time moms, I'm like, I feel like that hurts more than giving birth. But honestly, to each their own. I had epidural, so I obviously didn't feel the birth, but I think the whole pushing on gut, it was crazy. I decided to, after that, the first night it was like so unrealistic. Like I finally had my baby. And then I can remember like at 1 a.m. he let out this little scream and we were both like in shock, like what just happened. So he was just hungry. The nurse came in and she told me how to breastfeed, and that whole morning was nice. We had breakfast. And then we had visitors. I had my best friend come. I had two of my friends from work come. One of my mom's friend that came. Another close friend that came during her shift. And she just texted me. She said, hey girl, you want any snacks? Because I'm pretty sure you deserve this. So she came through. Everyone who came and stopped by and visited me. My godmom, a couple family members. They were so amazing. They took the time to come visit me and little Peanut. It was such a good experience. At that night, like me and my boyfriend, we binge watched 90 Day Fiance, and if you guys know, that show is crazy. It was a good time. Like we spent it all three. Then that night he was just making sure the baby was good, obviously because I wanted to be 100% breastfeeding mom. He obviously couldn't help me much, but I made sure everything was good. I couldn't sleep that well because my anxiety just wouldn't let me. I just wanted to make sure if he was breathing, if he was good. He was. After that night it was okay, and then the next morning we had breakfast again, and that's when the doctor came, and then she just signed us off. She gave us our bundle. We made sure everything, all the paperwork was good, and we just went home. And from there, I just was so happy. I didn't take a shower at the hospital. I didn't feel too comfortable taking a shower at the hospital, so I did wait until I got home, threw up and everything. I was just so happy I finally had my baby. I know when I got into the car, the first thing I did was I called the state to make sure his insurance was set. I called everything just to make sure I didn't have to go through all this later in a couple weeks. That's my experience. I know everyone has different experiences and unique experiences, but this was my experience when I had my baby. Thank you all those who watched this video. I hope you can like and subscribe this video. It would mean so much to me, and thanks. Bye.